So let us consider this first problem. A college wants to encourage the students attending the classes. So they have decided to give few marks for attendance as below. Actually they have decided to give a maximum of 5 marks, and the calculation will be, if the attendance percentage is from 75 to 80, then he will be given 1 mark. When the attendance percentage is 81 to 85, he is going to be given 2 marks. When the attendance percentage is 86 to 90, he will be given 3 marks. 91 to 95, 4 marks, and 96 to 100, 5 marks. And when the attendance is less than 75%, if the attendance is less than 75%, then he is debarred. Okay, so don't print anything. Now you are going to be given marks scored by n students. Okay, there are n students in the class, and now you will be given marks scored by n students and their percentage of attendance in the subject. And you have to print the total marks scored, and you should not print if the student is debarred. That's the question. Now when we look at the PAC for the problem, the input are going to be n, the number of students in the class, and then marks scored by n students and attendance scored by n students. And the output is going to be marks secured by the students if they are eligible. Okay, if they are not debarred, then you are going to print the total marks secured by that particular student. And when you look at the concepts involved, you have to calculate the mark, additional mark for their attendance. Okay, and then you can also do some kind of modularization in this code, because the attendance mark calculation itself has some little amount of work to do. So it is better to put it in a separate module, and we can use that module in our code. We can use that idea in our implementation. So this is just to understand how the things are going to be. Here just example, 3 students are there in the class, and this is the detail of the first student. He has got 78 marks and his attendance percentage is 81. If he has got attendance percentage is 81, then 2 marks have to be added, so his total marks will be 80. Similarly, 56 is the marks scored, 72 is the attendance percentage. Actually he is debarred, we should not print anything, but the total marks is not changed. Okay, but we should not print this detail. Similarly, when 92 is the total marks scored and 95 is the attendance percentage, so 96. So for 96 we have to add 5 marks, so the total mark will be 97. Okay. So when we write an algorithm, we can write like this. First of all, you have to know how many number of students are there in the class. So get it, and you have a variable to keep the loop in control. Okay, this is a loop controlling variable, and you initialize to 0, and you are going to repeat step 3 to actually step 3 to step 8. You have to repeat while I is less than n. Okay, so where you read the mark and attendance of a particular student, you are going to read for n students, so only this repetition is there. You are going to read the mark and attendance of a particular student, and you are going to check if attendance is less than 75. Then you are going to go to step number 8, where you will increment the value of I, and you will go to step number 3. Okay, you have nothing to do if the attendance is less than 75%. Okay, and then you are going to add the marks with attendance marks. Okay, so I am going to write a function and call it here. This is just a pseudo code. Okay, rather than algorithm, I can say this is a pseudo code. What is meant by a pseudo code is, when it is partially English and partially we use the way how do we write code, then we will call it as a pseudo code. So now we can see that I have used a new function, and I am passing one parameter, that is the attendance. I am going to pass this attendance as parameter and call the function attendance marks. Okay, and then I am going to print the marks, increment time, and go to step 3. So this will be repeated for n number of students. This is the general algorithm. Next we are seeing the algorithm for the function attendance mark. Okay, so when you look at the attendance marks function, in the step 1 we are just looking at what are the parameters that are passed. One parameter is passed for the function, that is the percentage of attendance. Okay, so this is a general function. Actually, as per the logic, we will not call this function if attendance percentage is less than 75. But this is for general foolproofing mechanism. What is meant by foolproofing mechanism is your program may be used even by a user who is not working in the domain. He may not be aware of the things. Okay, like he may not know that the value what he enters is a percentage. So he may give a value greater than 100 or sometimes negative and so on. In such cases also your system should not give a wrong answer or your system should not fail. That's what is called as foolproofing. Okay, even a fool should not make the system to stop working or your program should not give a wrong answer. If you do that in all the code, it will be very nice. So just here we are doing it. We are just checking if p is less than 75 or p is greater than 100, then we are going to return 0. Otherwise, okay, when I use otherwise, it means that both these conditions were not there, right? So if otherwise, what you are going to do? You are going to check whether it is less than or equal to 80. If it is less than or equal to 80, then we are going to return 1. Okay, otherwise. So when this line is going to be executed, it means that it is greater than 80. So if it is less than 85, then return 2. Otherwise, so when this line is getting executed, it is definitely greater than 85. So you are checking whether it is less than or equal to 90 and return 3. Otherwise, so now we know that p will be greater than 90, so you return 4. Otherwise, where here the value of p is greater than 96, so you are going to return 5 and you are going to stop. This is the algorithm for attendance marks, okay, function. Now let us do the implementation in Python. First of all, we will define the function and then we can do the main part of it. That is the previous algorithm what we saw. So this is how we will write a function. Already you saw this in the previous lecture also. DEF is the keyword to denote that a function starts. This is the name of the function, and within the parenthesis you are giving the arguments of the function. Here we have only one argument and you have to keep a colon. This is must. So if p is less than 75 or p is greater than 100, then you are going to return 0. Okay, so otherwise, how do we write otherwise? Else, and you have to check a condition also. So we are using elif here. Elif is else plus if. Okay, so elif, what we are going to do? P less than or equal to 80. Okay, we mean that the marks code is from 75 to 80, right? In that case, we are going to return 1. Then elif. So when the mark is greater than 80 and less than or equal to 85, we are going to return 2. Elif p less than or equal to 90, return 3. Elif p less than or equal to 95, return 4. Else. Okay, so either I can check less than or equal to 100, or since we have checked that if it is greater than 100 the function would have returned, it is not required. Logically, when you think here, it is not required to check whether it is less than or equal to 100. We are damn sure that if it comes here, then obviously it is less than 100 and greater than or equal greater than 95. Okay, so even this else is not required. I have just put it and you are returning 5. See, in certain places else may not be required when we are writing a function, because when a return statement is above, if the condition was satisfied, then the function would have returned a control to the callee function which called it. Okay, so it may not be required. Here in this place, this else is not mandatory. Even if you are not putting it, it will work fine. Okay, so the function is ready. Now look at the main part of the code. Okay, so when you look at the main part of the code, the first thing is you have to read the number of students in the class, and then actually I am going to use for loop. When I use for loop in Python, this step of the algorithm and this step of the algorithm are going to be combined, right? it is not going to be separate steps. Okay, so I am going to say for I in range 0 comma n, I am going to repeat something. What I am going to do is I am going to read the mark and the attendance. So mark is equal to int of input. Let us assume that the mark is a integer, and then attendance is going to be there equal to int of input. Okay, you are reading from the user, converting it to a integer. Let me remove this e. It is the variable name now. Okay, so after reading this, what does the algorithm says you to do? If attendance is less than 75, okay, if ATTS less than 75, then it is asking you to go to step 8. In step 8, what you are doing is you are incrementing I and you are going to continue the loop. You are not going to do anything. We have already seen this statement continue. So let us use that here. So when I say continue, what will happen is the rest of the body of the loop will be ignored and the control will automatically come over here. So when the attendance is less than 75, we are not going to do anything for the student. We are just going to merely continue the loop, right? Otherwise, we are going to do something. What you are going to do? Marks is equal to mark plus, I am going to call the function attend underscore mark of ATT. Okay, I am calling the function what I have defined, user defined function, which is above, and after that I am going to print the marks. Fine, print the marks. That's it, right? This is the algorithm. Let us execute and check whether there is any bug in it. So let me say 5. I am saying there are 3 students. So we can check with the data what we saw as example. Okay, so 3 students and 78 is the mark and 81 is the, okay, where is the problem? P. Okay. Oh, I have given here as attend. That variable name changed. Okay. Here everywhere I have used as P, there I used as attend. That was the confusion, mistake made by me. So I have changed that to P. Okay, so save it and then now I am going to execute again. So let me use the same input what I used previously. So you can see that you are getting 80. That is what you want. And then second student 56 and then 72. It won't print anything because we are using continue in that. That's what we want. Then 92 and then 96. You can see that the mark is 97. That's what we want. Okay. So this is how you can use functions, and in this case actually we have not used. In the lecture you might have seen that Python also supports default arguments and keyword arguments. Here we are not using any special type, so this comes under the normal way of positional arguments. Okay, though here there is only one argument, even if I have more than one, what will happen is it will map the arguments from the actual to formal as per the position. First argument of the actual will be assigned to the first argument value for formal, like that. Okay, so fine. So we will continue our discussion. So next problem, right? So here the university expects a BTech student, BTech student to complete X credits. Okay, to complete the program he has to gain X credits for the award of the degree, and Y more credits has to be earned by the student for getting a honors degree. See, honors is like something you are showing that you are special when you are doing the graduation. That is what is honors. There is option in many universities where you can opt for honors degree. In that case, the university will ask you to do few more courses. They will give a list of courses. They will ask you to pick and gain few credits from it, so that they can treat you as a special student during graduation, right? So the problem is you will be given X credit, require X credit for completion of the degree, and you have to gain more Y credits to be a honors degree, to get a honors degree. Okay, so given the value of x, y and the type of student, whether you are a normal student or aiming for honors degree, then you have to write a Python code to print the number of credits that he has to earn. Okay, very simple problem. So when you look at the problem analysis, the number of credits for degree, additional credits for honors and type of student, all these three are input, and the output of the code should be number of credits to be completed. For a normal student, it will be x, that is the number of credits required for completing the degree. If the student is aiming honors degree, then it will be x plus y. Y is the additional number of credits that should be earned for honors degree. Okay, so when you look at the concepts involved, it's going to involve comparison, because as per the input you have to decide whether he is a normal student or a honors student, and then you have to do some basic addition. And now what we are going to do is, we are going to use a function to compute the number of credits. Okay, and in that function we are going to use default argument. By default, because most of the students will aim at getting a normal degree only, very few, less than 5% of the students only will aim at gaining honors degree. See, in those conditions, what we will do is, if for most of the cases one of the input for the function, one of the argument for the function is going to be same, means we can make that as a default argument. Okay, so that it is not unnecessarily required to enter that value. So now we will see some example. See, 150 is the number of credit to be earned for award of degree. 10 is the number of credits required for honors degree. If n means he is a normal student, he do not want honors and all. Okay, in such case he has to earn 150 credits for award of the degree. Next, 150 is the minimum credits required for award of the degree. 10 credits is required for honors, and if he is aiming at honors, then you say that 160 credits should be earned by that student. 180 credits, 15 credits for honors, normal student, then total credits required is 180. 180 credits, 15 for honors, aiming for honors degree, 195 credits should be earned. Sorry, 1 minute. Yeah. So we can write an algorithm for it. So read the number of credits, and you have to read the number of additional credits required for honors and the type of the student. And I am going to write a function, and let me call the function as called calculate credits. Okay, I am writing in short form, and I am passing the parameters C, A and T is equal to N. See, look at it, in the pseudocode itself I have mentioned that it should be like a function with default argument. You calculate that credits and it is going to be in the function credits, and you are going to print it. Okay, let us see the algorithm for calc credit. The arguments passed for this functions are number of credit, additional credit and type of the student, and you are checking here, if type of the student is N, normal student, then you are just going to return C. If the type of the student is H, that is he is aiming for honors, then you should say that the total credits that should be earned by him is C plus A. Okay, right. So before moving to the next problem, let us solve it as we did previously. First of all, we will write a algorithm, I will write the function, and then we can do the main part. Okay, so you are going to write a function calculate credits, and you are going to get the input as the number of credits, then additional credits, and then T. Okay, T is the type of the student, and what I am going to do is, I am going to make this T as default argument, and I am saying that it's normal, because most of the students aim at doing a normal degree only, right? Very few students only, as I said, aim at doing a honors degree. So I am making this T to be N, and also what I am going to do is, I should make it as a trailing argument only. Trailing argument means it should come towards the end of the argument list. I cannot put this t as a second argument when there are 3 arguments, okay, and the third one is not a default argument. So towards the end of the argument list only we should have default arguments. You can have more than one default arguments, that's not a problem. You can have any number of default arguments. Even here in this case we have 3 arguments. You can make all the 3 also as default arguments, that is not a problem. But towards the end of the argument list only you should have default arguments. So you are going to calculate the credits here, and as we saw, and I am going to have this as n, okay, then I am going to return just C. Otherwise, okay, otherwise I need not put it here because there is a return in the if part. If the next statement is getting executed, definitely it means that that condition failed. So I need not put the else, I can just say here C plus A. Fine, okay. This is the implementation of calculate credit that we have done using default arguments. Next what we are going to do is we are going to implement the main part of the algorithm. You have to read the things, right? So first of all you are reading the number of credits required for completion of the degree. So C, and then number of additional credits required for honors degree, let it be A, and then the type of the degree, and yeah, let it be a normal input. I am not converting it to integer because I am going to treat it as either n or h, okay. And then what we are doing is if t is equal to h, okay, sorry, if t is equal to n, then we are going to only pass 2 arguments. It is required, it is sufficient to pass 2 arguments because third one by default will be n, okay. Otherwise I can call the function with all the 3 arguments, C, A, H, sorry, T. Yeah. So I will pass all the 3 if it is H, okay, and I can print the total number. Before that I should get it in a variable, so let me call it as tot, okay. So the total credits required is got in the variable tot, okay. So now I am typing tot, print, right. So first case 150 credits 10 and normal student, you see 150 is the answer. Then you can check 150 credits 10 and then H, you will get 160, right. Similarly 180 15 credits honors, you will see that it is 195. If I give n, you will get it as 180, right. This is how we will use default arguments. In most of the cases if the value is going to be same, then we can just pass